Hey everyone. So, with, following the Holy Spirit and just like living in freedom, there's a lot of attacks that come with it, just harassment and things like that. And, when you have a breakthrough and when you have a purpose in life, Satan is gonna come and attack you. But, like, one of the biggest things that I've overcome is a fear of intimacy, just fear of closeness with people and honesty, right? So yesterday, Jake and I went to a spa, a hot spring, and every few hours we catch ourselves getting scared of being close to each other, right? So for me, what I noticed is like, my heart would harden, or I'll be scared to get close to him. And it's an emotional thing, right? And so what happened was we were in this like sauna, and this lady she like turned around and stared at me. And I was like, okay, is it because I'm talking? And then like she stared at me again, and I was like, okay. And then it's like, so I felt uncomfortable and I felt like I was doing something wrong. So when I left, I like complimented her on her nails because I was just like, I don't know what to say, right? So we left and I was like, oh, I felt like I got in trouble, It made me feel paranoid. So we went into like a jacuzzi, and then like I kind of almost fell, and basically like there's like 10 people in there and all they did was stare. And that really like triggered my fear of intimacy as well, because I already started to feel that. And I felt embarrassed and kind of like publicly humiliated a little bit. And like usually I wouldn't really care, but because I had a fear of intimacy, like in that moment I felt so embarrassed. And so Jake and I went to another jacuzzi, and I kind of told him like, hey, I feel paranoid about what happened, like the lady was staring at me and I felt guilty. And he was just kind of like, just get over it kind of thing. And I was like, what? And then he was just like, I felt like he was shutting down. He was just like, just leave me alone right now. And I was like, oh no. And I could feel like just like my heart was scared of rejection. And in that moment, God told me, hey, like, tell him how you feel. So I wanted to shut down, distance myself, and just leave him alone. But Holy Spirit was telling me, like, tell him exactly how you feel. So I did. And he looked a little bit confused, I'm not gonna lie, like, because he was like shut down in a way, but he managed to like be nice in that moment, because I felt like what was happening was like he was also scared to get close to me, and his way was just shutting me out and shutting me down. And so like we worked through it, but in that moment I'm not gonna lie, it was hard because I could tell he was trying to pull away. And so like we talked it out, and like gradually he like kind of opened up again, and I cried. And I was just like, because I was scared to get close to you, like I was publicly humiliated. I felt this lady stared at me and da-da-da. And then like, anyway, so later we're talking about this whole thing that happened and how I got triggered. The lady that was staring at me, she walks down the road, and I was like, oh my God, it's her, right? So I stood up and I said, hey, like when you looked at me, I felt kind of bad, like we were talking loud or something. I'm sorry if I interrupted your quietness, whatever, but there was no quiet zone, And then she was like, no, I was just looking at you because you guys were so cute, you were so close together, you were snuggled together. And whether she was lying or telling the truth, in that moment, I confronted an issue by just saying how I felt to this lady, instead of, going home and saying, oh my God, that lady made me feel bad about talking in the sauna, whatever. I confronted the issue by being blunt and direct. And she said, she looked over at me because she thought we were cute. Like, we were snuggled together, we were close, and the couple was like really nice to us. So, I remember telling Jake, see, like, I confronted the issue by saying, but instead of feeling rejected or judged or whatever, I confronted her, and I was brave enough to say, let's have a conversation about that moment, right? So it's not always easy because, I mean, she was a stranger, right? But so anyways, do you have any instance where you're like, I feel a certain type of way and I'm scared to say it, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to say what's on my mind. I'm going to have a conversation, whether with a stranger or with a friend or a family member, about something that's difficult, right? Anyways,